Alright, hey everybody. If anybody's watching, I don't know, but I just wanted to kind of make this video, and I figured I'd just go ahead and do it as a live stream as I walked around. I know if you look at the channel, I tried a 360 live stream a little bit earlier. That did not work out. That was not a good quality, so I think the 360 concept for live streaming, at least for me, with that test, is pretty much out the door, which is fine, because that's not what I bought the camera for. So, but I do have the 360 camera. I'm also using it at the same time actually to record. You guys can't see it, but I am going to be doing, and hopefully you guys won't get too sick, but I don't know where my controls aren't showing. There we go. We'll be looking at me for a good portion of this video as I walk. Hopefully it won't make you sick. The 360 video will probably be a little bit smoother once I repost it, because that's kind of my plan, is to repost that medium as well. But I just wanted to take a minute, do a live stream, but also just talk a little bit, give a little bit of updates on a couple of things that I'm working on. Mainly just specifically around some of the development items that are going to be upcoming. I know I haven't, oh yeah, there's a tree. There's a tree I had to bend down for. I'm passing somebody, so trying not to be too annoying. But it's a beautiful day in Tennessee, by the way, but I haven't streamed much lately, mainly because we've been back in Tennessee. So since that last trip of Disney streaming, haven't had anything really worth streaming around here. Had the desire, but I've been doing a lot of work on a couple different projects. I know I kind of had tried to get the multi-view in much more of a tablet friendly, and that's definitely something I'm working on doing currently, is trying to get realistically that multi-view so that it's something that you can set up and have on your tablet, sit it on your kitchen table, hang it on the wall, do whatever you want, so that you can still be able to have kind of those live streams up and in a format that's more user-friendly for a tablet. Right now it's really built for mouse clicks. Again, it was built for me, not for anybody else, especially initially. So it's really, again, built for what I was using it for. So mouse clicks were really kind of the main pieces on that. So still specifically working through that. On the other side of that, I know I had built out kind of a beta, kind of called it part companion, but realistically it's just a wait times app that's kind of a simple aside to the site, and it's actually currently available through the links on the normal multi-view if you wanted to check it out in kind of a beta format. It was mainly just for me because I wanted something that would allow me to have notifications pushed to my phone, and there were a lot of things that were already out there, but all of those either had some limitations or they had paywalls on them, and I tend to be somebody, I don't want to pay for things, especially since I'm paying so much to go to Disney. Paying for the extras is not always in my wheelhouse. So created just that quick little app to have another place to be able to see wait times. If you install the actual app on your phone, you can have those sent as push notifications. You can monitor based on the wait times. There's some notifications that'll let you know if a ride goes down, if a ride goes up. So there's a couple different options you can do there. Also, the other piece that I've been working on is kind of I guess, a little bit similar to that, and it's actually, I'm working on integrating it into that same app. But it's the ability to log your park visits. So while you're in the park and through this same wait time app, if you want to keep track of, you know, what I rode, when I rode it, what the wait time was showing, and what the wait actually ended up being, I've got that kind of initially all built into that app as well. So, you know, if you're standing in line, you get in line for Guardians, you can go ahead and mark, look, I got in line, I'm going to ride Guardians at this point, and then you can update how long it actually took at the end, which, man, it got bright there. This phone is not as good as my old phone when it comes to video quality. Let me come up here and try to get that down a little bit. I'm going to actually stop so that you guys don't get to see me fall, because I would probably fall on my face. All right, we'll see if that's a little bit better. So I'm working on that as well, just as a place you could go to be able to log your visits. It logs them, and then you also have the ability to run some analytics on them. So if you want to see, you know, what was the ride we rode the most, what was the park we went to the most, what was our posted wait times versus our actual wait times. So there's a couple different analytics, and then you can also just export the data. So I also have the option to just be able to export it out into an Excel spreadsheet. So if you wanted to do your own crazy analytics, you'd be able to do that there, or keep it in the records just in case something ever happens to your data. So I've got that out there as well. I think the last thing that's probably what I'm most interested in, and it again comes from this concept of there are paid options out there, but looking to try to provide something for free without charge, and without having a paywall or features, and making it more how I would make it as well, because again, these are all things that I'm doing for myself. So that one specifically is what I'm still not as set specifically on the name, but that's going to be the Wonderful Window. What the Wonderful Window is, I'm not sure about the name. What the Wonderful Window specifically is it's simply just a display. So the idea behind it is it will be designed specifically for tablets or for web-enabled devices. So think your TV, think your tablet, anything that can access a web browser. I was looking at, you know, you'd be able to access it on like an Amazon Echo Show. That's the Amazon devices that have screens. So trying to make it as cross-compatible as I can, but realistically making this kind of a display that you can keep up in your house that's going to have lots of different data on it. So a couple of the initial things I have is you can set it up and configure wait times. So it scrolls through all the different wait times in a very, trying to get it to be as graphically pleasing as possible manner, so that you can see specifically the wait times, what park they're in, park hours. Think of it as a little bit more personalized of some of the YouTube videos that do, you know, 24/7 streams that show that, but you get to personalize it for you. There's options to be able to move different things around the screen. Long term, I plan to allow you to set your own graphics. So even if you want the background for certain parks to be set to a picture of you and your kids, you'd be able to upload those and have those linked out to be able to see. So ultimately have that as a piece of it. So that'll be kind of rotating. Obviously having, you know, park countdowns when your next trip is, having a countdown there is definitely important as part of that. So you can see all that either in the same display or separate. I know there was a little bit of talk in one of the threads I was on about, you know, specifically having something that replicates the look and feel of like when you walk into your Disney hotel room. So that's obviously also kind of what I'm looking to try to get at from that perspective. Realistically, I want that integrated in such a way in so that you can switch back and forth between the multi-view. So again, if you have this set up on a tablet, you can have that as your standard that's just showing wait times or all sorts of weather data, all sorts of interesting things about the parks. And then we'll have it kind of move over and also show you who's live in the parks, and you can get to that relatively easily if you want to keep that on or keep that up. Obviously with all the normal things that you can do in the multi-view, chatting, liking videos, logging in, making them larger, smaller, all the normal great functionality that you guys have grown accustomed to. So that's kind of primarily the couple things I've been mainly working on. I've probably spread myself a little bit more thin and kind of hit the high level where I haven't truly finished off or polished any of these at this point. I would call them all in a very beta kind of view, so I'm just looking through the next couple weeks to hopefully get them a little bit more polished and finished off. Again, ultimately I want something that people are going to use. I'm going to use it, so again, it's targeted for me. I know that was, I specifically ordered a Fire Stick to be able to test out how it works with that built-in browser to make sure that it'll look good like on a TV if you have that ability. So just kind of looking at what some of those specific options are. And just as an FYI, Prisim doesn't like me. It never has liked me. So I can't see the chat or see if there's anybody watching. So this is pretty much just me recording and rambling. So, but yeah, so a couple things kind of in the pipe on that. I think once we get the wonderful window up and running, I think one of the big things is going to be what suggestions do people have. I'm going to need feedback from folks on what things they like, don't like, things of that sort, because there's always going to be, you know, some things that are better than others. Oh goodness, I'm getting the sweat index meter and it's like not even any temperature out here. But again, you know, it's just kind of just wanted to chat a little bit about some of the things I'm working on. I know there's some other things kind of rolling around in my head when it comes to streaming. I know also I'm working on doing a little bit of enhancement on my own banners and the geolocation banners that I used last time I was in the park, just to get a little bit more information, customization within those, make them look a little bit better. Obviously not using it today, mainly because I don't think I think I did set up geolocations for my neighborhood, but you don't care about those. So, but again, just things rattling around. I really hope that some of these things will be useful to people. That's ultimately my goal, is just to try to provide things that people want and use and that are useful. I don't really have long-term ambitions of anything or any additional motives. I know that's one of the things I've talked with a couple people about, you know, the YouTube channel as it is, and like, am I looking to grow the channel? Am I looking to make it something where I'm monetized or anything like that? Realistically, just don't think that's where I am. I don't think I have the time to dedicate, because it's a very big thing. I mean, just ask some of the other folks that are out there that do it daily or multiple times a week. It's not an easy thing. You don't just go out there, turn on a camera and go. There's a lot of thought, preparation, planning that goes into every single stream these folks do, every single vlog, every single piece of content. It just takes hours and hours of time, which is why I have the utmost respect for everyone that streams, everyone that vlogs, everyone that does it from the parks, not in the parks, everywhere. I have just serious respect for what they do and that they're able to do that and create content that people consume. So I will definitely say thank you to everyone, and that's all the links of the Disney Network streamers are in the description of this video. They're the amazing folks, especially the folks that are there regularly, producing a lot of content at their own, at essentially their own risk of them having to go through the parks and bringing the parks into people's houses and people's homes, which is ultimately what the goal is for all these channels, is to bring people together and allow people to be able to feel like they're in the parks when they can't be in the parks. So I guess I'm to a certain extent the poster child of that, because we have annual passes this year. We have been a lot, but even when my day's going bad and, you know, I've got stress going on or I've got stuff happening, it is great to be able to pull up and have the multi-view running and be able to see all the folks that are in the parks, chat, interact with them, and at any time, in any moment, be able to have that kind of pull away from the daily life to be able to see what's going on in the magical land of Disney, or even not in Disney sometimes, depending on where people are streaming from. I like the concept of live. I like the fact that people have to be real. They have to be themselves. It's kind of impossible for the, you know, hundreds of hours of content that people put out there when they're live so often for them to really put on a mask and fake it. That's just not something that people you can realistically do. So you see the best of people, you see the worst of people at times, but everyone makes mistakes and everybody reacts differently to different things. So I think that's the part that I enjoy the most, is just seeing the realness of people and seeing who they really are, whether that's good or bad. Because, you know, again, people make mistakes, and if people get in a bad situation, it makes me feel a lot better when I open my big mouth and get into a bad situation. So there's always some of that just is good to see. But mainly I also just enjoy getting to see the parks and seeing what's changed since I was there last time, or little secrets, or see certain rides that maybe I haven't ridden in a while. It's just kind of great to be able to see that. So with that said, that's just a little bit of me monotony walking. I should be walking more often because I always about die when we go to Disney. So I should be walking more often to get my feetsies feeling a little bit better, but I don't always attend to that. So, well, thanks guys. Thanks for the time. Thanks for listening to me.